Greetings everybody, Patty here. From the Mother Jones. This bumblebee was just added to the endangered species list. This was back January 13th, 2017. It was added to the endangered species list under the Obama administration. Look at this cute little guy. See? Obama placed it under the Endangered Species Act. But take a look at what President Trump just did. President Trump now goes after the bumblebees. The administration just delayed endangered status for a bumblebee species that's on the brink of extinction. First it was puppies. Now, Trump is going after bees. Just weeks before leaving office, the Obama administration's Fish and Wildlife Service placed the rusty-patched bumblebee on the endangered species list, the first bee species to gain that status in the continental United States. Just weeks after taking office, the Trump administration temporarily reversed that decision. And the reason is not good. Okay. The official announcement of the delay cites a White House memo released just after Trump's inauguration, instructing federal agencies to freeze all new regulations that have been announced, but not yet taken effect, for the purpose of reviewing questions of fact, law, and policy they raise. Over here, we don't think this is just a freeze. It's an opportunity for the administration to reconsider and perhaps revoke the rule entirely, said an NRDC attorney. The Fish and Wildlife Service, which oversees the endangered species list, acted just in the nick of time in delaying the bumblebee's endangered status. It was scheduled to make its debut on the list on February 10th, yesterday. Aw, man. Thought Trump cared about America. How can he care about us Americans if he doesn't even care about the bees? Okay? Alright, so Rebecca Riley, a senior attorney for the National Resource Defense Council, told me the move may not be a mere procedural delay. We don't think this is just a freeze. It's an opportunity for the administration to reconsider and perhaps revoke the rule entirely. Now, why would Trump administration want to reverse Endangered Species Act protections for this pollinating insect? After all, the rusty-patched bumblebee has experienced a swift and dramatic decline since the late 1990s, and its abundance have plummeted by 87%. Leaving small, scattered populations in only 13 states. According to a December Fish and Wildlife Service notice, and it's not just pretty to look at. The Fish and Wildlife Service has noted that, like other bees, rusty-patched bumblebees pollinate many plants, including economically important crops such as tomatoes, cranberries, and peppers, adding that bumblebees are especially good pollinators. Even plants that can self-pollinate produce more and bigger fruit when pollinated by bumblebees. The answer may lie in the Fish and Wildlife Service blunt discussion of pesticides as a threat to this bumblebee species. I'm going to change that sentence. Discussion of pesticides as a threat to the human species. Okay. Now, before I continue, let me leave this here. Well, let me continue before I give you my thoughts. Like commercial honeybees, bumblebees face a variety of threats: exposure to pesticides, disease, climate change, and a loss of forage. FWS cited all of those, noting that no one single factor is likely responsible, but these threats working together, have likely caused the decline. No, it's the pesticides, the GMOs, Monsanto. But it didn't mince any words with the neonicotinoids, a class of insecticide widely used on U.S. farm fields. Here we go. Neonics, as they are known, are a highly contagious topic. They make up the globe's most widely used insecticide class, with an annual global sales of $2.6 billion, dominated by agrochemical giants Syngenta and Bayer, which is currently in the process of merging with Monsanto. They have been substantially implicated in the declining health. Thank you very much. There is your truthful answer. They have been substantially implicated in the declining health of honeybees, and other pollinators, birds, and waterborne animals. The European Union maintains a moratorium on most neonic use in farming, based on their threats to bees. Okay, they keep saying bees, but it is a threat to bees, but if we lose the bees, it's a threat to humans. Okay, the U.S. Environmental Pollution Agency is currently in the middle of years-long reassessment of the risk they pose to bees and other critters. Okay, I'm going to stop it right here. Now, this is what I think. President Trump, businessman, not politician, businessman, he had to take this bumblebee off of the endangered species list in order to be able to use this neonics pesticides. Alright, as you can see, it's highly lucrative, $2.6 billion annually. But if they placed these bees right here on the endangered species list, then they would not be able to use their highly contentious neonic insecticide with an annual sales of $2.6 billion. So they're protecting the $2.6 billion. Okay, not the bees. This is what they're protecting. Alright. We already know they don't care about the bees. Look what happened in Florida and the Zika virus. All those bees that died for nothing. Alright, we're having a major bee die-off. Okay, anyways. Dominated by agrochemical giants Syngenta and Bayer, merging with Monsanto. Okay, anyways, here's what the Fish and Wildlife Service wrote about neonics in the context of the rusty-patched bumblebee. That's a long word. Neonicotinoids have been strongly implicated as the cause of the decline of bees in general, and for the rusty-patched bumblebees specifically. The introduction of neonicotinoid use and the precipitous decline of this bumblebee occurred during the same time. Neonicotinoids are of particular concern because they are systemic chemicals, meaning that the plant takes up the chemical and incorporates it throughout, including it in leaf tissue, nectar, and pollen. The use of neonicotinoids rapidly increased when suppliers began selling pre-treated seeds. The chemical remains in pre-treated seeds and is taken up by the developing plants and becomes present throughout the plant. Pollinators foraging on treated plants are exposed to the chemicals directly. This type of insecticide use marked a shift in using systemic insecticides for large-scale preemptive treatment. Note also that of the 13 states that still harbor scattered rusty-patched bumblebee populations, 4, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and Ohio, are in the U.S. Corn Belt, where corn and soybean crops from neonic-treated seeds are common. There you go. Okay, that's how I came up to my assumption. They need these crops. Okay, they need to spray these crops with their poisons. And if that bumblebee is on the endangered list, they can't spray. They can't use their pesticides. How disgusting. How absolutely disgusting. Anyways, so the NRDC's Riley noted that the EPA reassesses neonics. Yeah, right. They don't reassess anything. It is obligated to consider the insecticide's impact on endangered species. Yeah, well, they don't follow through with their obligations. The Environmental Pollution Agency. If the rusty-patched bumblebee makes it onto the list, let's hope it does, it would place an endangered species that's clearly harmed by neonics directly into the region where the lucrative chemicals are most widely used, possibly forcing it to restrict neonic use in those areas. Wouldn't want to do that, would we? So keep those pesky bees off the endangered species list. Okay, we don't need those pesky bees. We need your chemicals. Sickos. Sickos. It's worth noting that the man Trump chose to lead the EPA transition team, Myron Ebell, works for the industry-funded Competitive Enterprise Institute, which runs a website, safechemicalpolicy.org, that exists to downplay the health and ecological impacts of chemicals. If science guides the Trump team, this fast-disappearing bumblebee will get its endangered status soon. Let's hope it doesn't get extinct status soon. We don't think there's any legitimate basis to roll this rule back. The original decision to protect the bee was based on comprehensive scientific analysis. The question is the degree to which science will guide the administration as it decides the fate of this once flourishing insect. Man, we gotta save our bees, guys. Can't believe it. Trump's war on bees. Not good.